to the Phillies bullpen. Second home run of the night for Kyle Schwarber. It's another solo shot. And the Phillies are on top 3-0 as the fireworks explode off the top of the bell.
I don't think there's any question. I might be wrong, but to me it looked like Schwarber's like, I'm going to get a change up here, and I'm just going to stay back, and I'm going to unload on it. And didn't he?
Kyle Schwarber. Quick baseball minute here. Mazz, what's standing out to you about the baseball playoffs so far?
Okay, two quick things. One, that with regard to the playoffs, pretty obvious right now. Looks like Philly and Texas are kind of on a collision course for the World Series championship. They'll play, I'm presuming it's going to be those two teams. I wouldn't rule out Houston, but I think Arizona's cooked. Regardless, both teams, top 5 payroll teams in Major League Baseball. And this should be a particular note for Red Sox fans. A club that has been unwilling to spend for the big-name players in free agency or acquire them via trade in the last 3 or 4 years in particular, but really longer than that. Regardless, in the last 2 years, here is who Texas and Philly have added. Corey Seager, Marcus Semien, Nick Castellanos, Kyle Schwarber, Jacob deGrom, Nathan Eovaldi, Andrew Heaney, Trey Turner. Those players on the market in aggregate contracts, $1.2 billion. 1.2. And they didn't all work. DeGrom's been a failure. Mm-hmm. But I think when teams go out and do what these teams have done, it sends a message to the whole organization, let alone the city. We mean business. We are playing to win. We are going for the title. And unsurprisingly, do you know Texas last year had a worse record than the Red Sox?
I did not.
They went 68-94. They went out and spent again after signing Seager and Semien to a combo of $500 million in the middle of their infield. They went right back out on the market. They acquired deGrom. They acquired Eovaldi. And then at the trade deadline, they traded for Max Scherzer. So they went all in. And they're going to be in the World Series, I think. And if not, boy, they've made a hell of a run, haven't they? And they're going to be pretty good.
It'd be great to be a fan of those teams.
It would, 100%.
They're interesting, and they're going for it, and they play in big games with big-name players, and they think big and spend big and try and win big, and I'd want to be a fan of one of those teams.
Definitely.
I also get the nature of those players. I mean, Schwarber and Eovaldi. Clearly,
big balls.
Big ones. Intangible players, gamers, mentality kind of guys that analysts and nerds can't quantify, don't want to quantify, don't believe exists. So it's good to see those guys having success elsewhere when it was obviously right in front of your face that you had them, Eovaldi especially.
And, Mike, that whole list really, Seager's been awesome.
You can make the case, but, you had those players. I'm talking about, you had those guys. Schwarber, I don't know if he's lived up to his contract or not. I don't know.
I would say yes.
So, I don't even know what it is. But
$79 million for 4 years.
Oh, yeah. But Eovaldi? That was a no-brainer.
Chump change.
He didn't even get paid.
$34 million for 2 years.
Schwarber got paid. This is my point. Eovaldi, that wasn't even a prohibitive contract.
Correct.
So, it's good to see it thrown back in their face. Real quick, Mazz, how many people now, internally and externally, have turned down the Red Sox?
9.
Okay, internally and externally. Like who's the guy? Is it Raquel Ferreira?
Yeah, yes.
She said she doesn't even want to interview for the job for family reasons.
That's what she said.
She already works for the team.
Correct.
It's like she has to move her family. And she just goes to a different office. Yeah, goes to a different floor in the same building.
But they know mom's going to get fired from that one.
Exactly.
That's an interesting point. So your thoughts on all the people that are turning him down?
So Shaughnessy has a snarky, wise-ass column that he got posted today.
That's redundant.
Yes. Well, that's true. Yes, that's self-evident. Mike Hazen, Emil Sade, Brandon Gomes, Sam Fuld, Derek Falvey, Michael Hill, John Daniels, Raquel Ferreira, and James Click, who was the last to join the list. 9 people have turned down the chance to interview for the GM job at the Red Sox. 9.
The internal
9
ones
people.
The internal ones are the ones that blow me away.
Stunning.
You don't want the promotion? Or you don't even want to put your hat in and be thought of as someone who's up for the promotion? And then family reasons? Like, that one's hysterical. you have to go to a different cubicle.
Correct.
How does that impact your family? I understand it might be a little more work, but I mean, you know what I mean. It's like you got to move to Tacoma, Washington.
No, that's right. With the other people, it's I'm going to move there, uproot my family, and kids,
Right.
and you're going to fire me in 3 years? No, thanks. I'm out. Even that. Like, I even look at that and say, you've got to be kidding.
Or you suck at the job like Chaim Bloom did. You become more of a name, and then you start taking guff as a family member. You know, like, hey, you know, your mom sucks at this job. She's helping to ruin the Red Sox. Like, that could be a factor, too. I wouldn't blame someone.
9 people have said thanks, but no thanks.
To the Red Sox.
Correct. 9 people. Now, I think that this was part of the dilemma with keeping Cora here, too. And there were a lot of reasons for it. You know, primarily the instability of the job. Start there. But on top of it, now I got to come in and work with a manager who clearly stabbed the last GM in the back. And now you have trigger finger ownership. A manager who has more power than the GM.
Yeah.
You want me to commit? This is why, like, they're going to end up having to hire Eddie Romero. And again, I'm not. I think under the circumstances, it might be the best that they can do. So to me, given what they were going to do with Cora and keep Cora, that clearly they were headed down this kind of road. I think that's where they're headed. That it's going to be Romero and Cora. It's going to be their baby. And if they work well together, fine, no problem. But it also ties into the first thing we talked about, which is the money. Okay, it's not going to make a damn bit of difference if you don't spend money and go get some players. Like, you need both. The whole thing is like, wow. Wow. You look at the whole thing and go, holy crap. The Phillies and the Rangers are spending out the nose. They're in it. You're not, and no one wants to come here. That's funny. Now that's funny. Right. Fix that. So they're just not going to have any choices, which might be a good thing because they'd screw up the choices anyway.